All right, I am actually here at City Hall and I have our mayor, Justin Green. And Mayor, thank you for taking time for us this afternoon.
Well, hi, and thank you, Becky. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you just for a few minutes.
All right, well, we would like to kind of talk about, of course, you're going to be you've got your name in the hat and you're going to be gearing up, getting ready to run for another 4 years. But before we talk about the upcoming election, let's talk about some of the things that maybe some topics of our community that you've been willing to address. And let's talk about water right now and things that are going on with that.
Please, and thank you for asking about that. Yes, we've had a few days, pardon me, actually probably a week plus of some intermittent problems, and goodness, problems we didn't see coming, we didn't know, and certainly have been addressing very quickly. And we did have a relatively dark pocket of discolored water that did come loose. Certainly, with your press release coverage and some others, we did notify everybody. We found the problem, certainly took a lot of effort to address it. Some engineers, certainly, I'm not the expert on water, certainly don't know all the ins and outs. We got the right people in, including some state officials with IDEM, certainly got the problem addressed, took some time to find the right parts, got them overnighted, made that necessary separation from a pipe that honestly was not doing its job anymore. And science behind that is that, yes, it was allowing some of that water to be injected with our good water throughout the distribution. So getting that put to bed and figured out, exposed, and now capped and cut, certainly we're on the good side of it. And Becky, by that I mean, I know we still have a couple of calls. We do have a couple of pockets that have shown up that's still traveling, if you will, through the distribution system, and all the miles of pipe that we do own and have. Certainly we're working very diligently. And I know it's aggravating, very much aggravating for the administration here and our city employees, but I want you and our listeners to know we've certainly been aggressive in getting it rectified. We've done all of our testing. We've been in constant contact with our regulatory partners, and so we feel that we are on the good side of it. And those repairs, those adjustments, if you will, should alleviate a lot of problems. Goodness, we don't want that happening, and we know that, and we want the residents to know that as well.
So let's kind of go, whenever there's a problem, I guess, like when they are, testing and they see there's a problem that's developed, and of course at that time when that's showing, then you maybe have a resident or two calling in saying, I've got some problems with my water. So then that's when you go into the drive of trying to figure out the problem.
Absolutely, and it is a science, certainly. Again, miles and miles of networked distribution, and a series of storage tanks in the middle of that. And so trying to pinpoint sometimes within a 2-block radius or a 2-mile radius can be a little challenging, and depending on if it is a true main leak or if it is a hydrant issue. There's a lot of things going in with that. We also have a lot of booster pumps that we maintain. And sometimes it's a variety of problems that aren't necessarily the same each time. And it is an ongoing maintenance. And finding those issues when they do creep up is a very stair-stepped approach. And yes, we try to get that addressed very diligently, very quickly. And sometimes we're all impatient, myself included. I won't discount that a bit, but we want it fixed. We want it fixed quick. And that's my view as well, and the safe way and the quickest way, certainly.
And of course, when you identify the problem, then you have to either order the part, and I'm sure that it's like everything else, like, trying to get that part in, and of course, and I guess the demand, trying to get it overnighted, and you did have it overnighted.
In this example, we sure did. Closest yard of material that had this was in Florida, actually, for this example. But you're right. Odd size pipe, odd size fittings, pull blueprints out. They don't always marry up with what the as-built design shows. And again, we've got a distribution network that's 70, 80 years old in some places, more than that in some others. And so what you uncover is not what you think, and it becomes a challenge. And then sometimes you have to make a larger repair because of what you do uncover. Maybe the root of the problem is very minor, but all the pieces connected require upgrading at the same time. Certainly it makes sense to make the proper repair and not just a Band-Aid.
Right. And as mayor, do you feel like that the companies that have been working, the experts that's been working on the water plant, do you feel like they've been very transparent and very, I guess, communicative with you and been keeping you in the know?
You know, I think so. And again, it is a true science. It's a true network. It's a machine. Goodness, it's a machine. And trying to get all the experts around the table, all the knowledge, and to guide the right decisions, it takes a lot of people. And again, I certainly wouldn't say I have all the answers, and we do rely on a lot of outside folks.
Mm-hmm. And of course, then when they're working on it, I mean, all you can do is wait for them to say that it's fixed.
Well, you're right.
I mean,
and certainly stay in contact. I've been known to get in a trench a time or two, but albeit in the way.
well, rumors has it you've slept in your car out there.
I did. I have logged several
Was
hours.
that just waiting for them to wake up and tell you it's fixed?
Yeah, I've logged several hours outside of City Hall helping the crew. But you're right, and it takes a network of time and those experts to say, okay, this is what we found, this is what we're going to do, and this is our plan of attack. And again, sometimes those plans of attack aren't immediate, but they're the appropriate plan of attack.
Right. So then, of course, so let's say they got it fixed. They've got the new part in, and and it shows that it's all working, and their numbers are where they like to see them. And then, of course, then you're talking so many miles of pipe that has to be cleaned out, correct? Or has to be. We're talking these dark black pockets.
That's
or
right.
Pockets.
These pockets that do travel. Sometimes they're referred to as pockets or slugs, and they do. They travel within the network. We have a lot of crossovers. We have a lot of city blocks. We have a lot of mains, true 10-inch, 12-inch mains. So we carry a lot of water, a lot of volume of water. And so consumption, certainly then, as one person may be drawing and the neighbor's not, there's examples where one person could have a little bit and the next one doesn't. A lot of it does come down to some consumption within their own house. And then certainly as we flush, we certainly pull as much as we can, but there are some pockets that travel ahead of a hydrant or to a dead end line, and so those become more problematic, chasing. And not to say that we can't get them, we work on those as well, certainly do.
So that's why you've been flushing out that's why you see the hydrants being flushed.
We do, and we are, and we've actually upgraded some of that technology and equipment. We've upgraded to some automatic flushing hydrants, and by that, some new technology for us. I was very adamant we needed to implement some of this as they are on a cycle. They're timed, and so they will keep a problem area, if it was to exist, pulled. And so that automatic flusher does run for a number of minutes, and it will do that round the clock, and we can dial it to a large amount or to a small amount or the frequency we need to. So some of those efforts have been very beneficial.
Right, and I think that is this fair to say that it would be very bold of you to say that everything's fixed and 100%, because there's still maybe areas that might still have some issues, even like you might hear on the north side it's all good, but then on the south side it may be still working through.
That's well said, and I do want to make that point known and underline. The problem at hand has been addressed. Certainly the final cleanup, the final result, yes, we're working through that very, very diligently, and you're right, it could show a few more areas that we're working with. I'd like to tell you we've got a lot of it out. We've got a lot of it identified, and so there are some few, and I know that's very frustrating, and I'm not making apologies. I know there's still a few.
Mm-hmm. So are you finding a lot of the residents are are communicating with you? Maybe are you getting the calls? I know maybe people are calling when it's dark, but are you getting the calls where it's looking better, clearing up?
Very, very few calls, and
Okay.
you're right. Some of those last week were more prevalent, and honestly, we went 2 days and didn't have any calls. So I do think that is getting better. And but when I say no apologies, I mean no apologies for we've been trying. No apologies. I know it's very aggravating, and so I do understand that. And yes, by the number of calls, certainly I think that has gotten much better. Would also, Becky, ask, that's one of those things, if we don't know of an area, if we've got an issue with the one or two house neighbors, sometimes it's best if they call us. Please, we always want to know. Don't just assume we know.
Right.
There could be a new issue. If we had a water main break by chance, that could be a whole new issue.
Yeah, I think that would be just as helpful to call and let you know that it is looking good on, on certain sides of the community.
Yeah.
Area. So, of course, I know it's very frustrating when all of this happens, and hopefully you'll get this under control and get this new pipe in, and or you have already got it in, but everything hopefully will be a lot better.
Well, it is, and I, again, would profess to know all the caveats, all the pieces of the puzzle. There's a lot of moving parts. This was a big piece of the puzzle, though, and it was kind of like the Rubik's Cube. Some things that just, from a 10, 12-day period that didn't add up, and we got that piece of the puzzle fairly quick. But I think you're right. I would like to say that this is an issue that I think made sense once we found it. Again, in 2010, it was very appropriate, and years later, now it's not. So I think moving forward, I think we're on the good side of it.
Right, and I guess there's no mayor that feels like they're completely a water specialist, correct?
No, and I've got a lot of great mayors under me, behind me, and that did everything they could and within their capacities and their knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's tough. There is no crystal ball, sadly. I think you said I might have one coming, but the crystal ball never did show up. So yeah.
Yeah, Amazon is.
Yeah.
No, I think that it's important to realize that you're doing the best, and I feel like that we're on the right road, and I think that's important. And I think for our citizens of Salem and of course East Washington too, that shares this with us,
Well,
it's a relief.
You're right. Our East Washington wholesale customers, our town of New Pekin wholesale customers, the safety and wellness are certainly upmost to the city, my administration, our employees, and they've been great partners. And I thank you for bringing that up. The town of New Pekin, East Washington Rural Water, they're very good to work with, and they certainly were on hand and witnessed and understood what we were going through.
Right, and of course, they were waiting for, to hear about the repairs and bringing good news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us about the water and addressing that, and I hope that it clears up. I mean, I hope that, no pun intended, but I hope it clears up maybe some murkiness of people that didn't quite understand the whole process.
Thank you for asking, and there have been some misconceptions.
Yes.
There's been a little bit of misinformation as the days went, and so this was a good opportunity. Certainly would encourage anybody that had follow-up questions, they can always call in.
Right. Well, I think you're talking about on a grand scale, this is our water, you know what I mean? Yeah. And we all use our water, and we depend on our water, and of course, we know that that's important to you, and we appreciate you doing all you can. And of course, the company that's working very hard to diagnose it, get it fixed, get the part, and get it in place so that we can be back and good as normal.
You bet. Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.